couple more questions about you. Best day of your life and worst day of your life?
Worst day of my life, which isn't even a bad one, was where I was struggling to build a PC business in Sydney. And it was actually the same day. It was the best day because it was the day I decided I was going to put everything I had at going online. I bought a whiteboard, some felt tips and a tripod. And that was a definitive moment in my life. But it was also the only time in my life I felt like the biggest failure. So worst moment of my life, about 12 p.m. Best moment was probably about, or midday. Best moment was probably 3 hours afterwards when I did something about it and I marched home from the gym. Put up this whiteboard. Again, my housemate was like, what have you done with this wall? I put up a whiteboard on the wall and I was like, I'm going to go live at 3 p.m, which was 6 a.m. UK time. I'm going to rant about something to build my business.
And then boom.
Yeah, then boom.
Then it all opened up. Can you imagine if you didn't do that?
It haunts me all the time thinking about it.
Where would you be? Still training?
Yeah, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I'd probably have come back home a lot earlier. And this is again why I'm so obsessed about making people make these tiny decisions. Because if that book just changes one person's decision in 1 month's time, but that decision was to put the whiteboard up and to go for it, then that would drastically change the trajectory of their life.
Right, okay. So you're trying to make that one person make the one decision. It's a great way to make content as well. Just focus on that one person. A couple more questions. If you were to pick up the phone and ring up the 20-year-old James and give that young man some advice, based on everything you know now, what would you tell him?
Keep going. That'd be it. Just keep going. Like, it would be very short, very sweet. No regrets, nothing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I think that would motivate me as a 20-year-old as well.
Okay. Would you have not kept going then, or were you going to keep going anyways?
Well, this is that whole like paradox of if you could go back in time.
But were you the guy that was going to keep going, or were you still just not sure what the hell you were going to do?
I was always hungry. I always very much appreciated the family life I was given. And it wasn't, I always think that although I'm privileged with the family life I had, I don't think privilege is luck. I think privilege is good long-term decisions made before me. So the reason that my dad was able to, fill my car up with petrol when I was 17, that was because my dad was long-sighted with everything when he was younger and he stayed in the same businesses and worked his way to the top. It wasn't like people were just, assorted different houses and different money by the state and he was lucky enough to get a good slot. So that was always in my mind. That's why I went into corporate so early, was because that's what he did. But then I realized we were different people with similar values. So the drive was always there. That's why I turned up and did labouring on building sites, knocked on doors for gas and electric, sold products in shopping centres, a lot.
It's fascinating when you go back through your grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, and grandmother and think about what did they do to get you here. I've been thinking about that a lot these days. And man, they did some hard things, getting through some hard times just to get my ass here. It's something I think about quite a bit sometimes. And I always wonder if I'm ready to do those same hard things,
It's definitely a motivator.
Yeah.
That's what I think about a lot as well.
On that same note, best advice you ever received? Could it come from your dad or another PT or a client or just somebody like Ryan Holiday or Seneca? I don't know.
This was the last chapter in my second book. Whenever I've asked my dad whether or not I should do something, he said, why not? You're a long time dead. He's always reminded me I'm going to be dead for a long time. So that was probably the most definitive response I could ever get to a question. And it's probably the same thing I'll tell my kids in years to come.
Yeah, take risk. That's what you're telling them. Take risks. Because there's a graveyard right here called Bun Hill Graveyard, and I walk through it. I go to the gym, going right after this, and I see all these dead people around. And I always ask to myself, I said, what do they wish they had done? And are they thinking to themselves, I'm so glad I didn't take that chance, because then blah, blah, blah. No, they're dead. So they're all thinking, man, I would have loved to have the chance to take that chance. And I've got a very strange fascination with graveyards. Also, what's on the gravestone? Like you said earlier, is it your social media followers? Is it your net worth? What's on your obituary? Or is it your family and what you did for the community and how you made the world a better place? That's how people remember you.
I joked around with a friend and I said to him, if we ever find out we're going to die or we're going to get really short notice, like you've got a month to live, we have to say the words out loud, fair play. Fair play. That was it. And he goes, if you can't say fair play out confidently with your family around your deathbed or whatever, then you didn't live life right. So I'll probably say on the tombstone, fair play.
That's good, and that also means you have to be doing the things you need to do now, because you could get that news a week from now.
Exactly.
Right, and that's kind of the way you've led your life. It's not like I'm going to do this job for 40 years so I can retire. It's like it could be up at any moment in time, and you have to be able to say fair play, because I did it. I did it, right? And you want to be able to say that at any time, right? Yeah. Ido Portal always said, meditate on your death every day. And I think he's talking about things like that,
I think it's important.
Yeah. Last part of that question, to that 20-year-old that's listening, what's the best advice you can give them?
Whatever you need to do it every day. 5 times a week versus every day, I think every day is better. 3 times a week versus every day, do it. You can never do these things too frequently, successful habits, because it shouldn't be a weekday thing, it should be an everyday thing. So that would be the best bit of advice. If you're not doing it every day, you're not really doing it.
The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom